Okay, so as you can probably tell, I am in a new recording space. Um, so don't let that bother you too much. But this is chapter 21 of Legend. Day. Usually I'm grateful for the crowds on the streets of Lake. They're easy to slip in and out of, throwing off those who might be on your trail or hoping to pick a fight. I've lost count of the number of times I've used the busy streets to my advantage, but today they only slow me down. Even with the shortcut along the lakeside, I'm running just barely in front of the sirens and won't have a chance to widen the gap before I reach my family's house. I won't have time to get them out, but I have to try. I have to reach them before the soldiers do. Occasionally I pause to make sure the trucks are still going in the direction I think they are. Sure enough, they continue on a path straight for our neighborhood. I run faster. I don't even stop when I accidentally collide with an old man. He stumbles and falls against the pavement. "Sorry," I shout. I can hear him yelling at me, but I don't dare waste time looking back. I'm sweating by the time I near our house, still quiet and taped off as part of the quarantine. I sneak through the back alleys until I'm standing by our crumbling backyard fence. Then I ease my way through the cracks in the fence, push aside the loose board, and crawl underneath the porch. The sea daisies that I laid under the fence are still there, untouched, but they've already withered and died. Through the floor scraps, I see my mother sitting at Eden's bedside. John is rinsing a washcloth in a nearby basin. My eyes dart to Eden. He looks worse now, as if all the color has been stripped from his skin. His breath is shallow and raspy, so loud that I can hear it from down here. My mind screams for a solution. I could help John, Eden, and my mother escape right now and risk running into the plague patrols or street police. Maybe they could find refuge in the usual spots Tess and I hide. John and my mother are certainly strong enough to run, but how would Eden keep up? John could only carry him for so long. Maybe I can find a way to sneak them onto a cargo train and help them escape inland to somewhere, I don't know. If the patrols are already after Eden, then it won't make things any worse if John and Mom just leave their jobs and run. They've already been quarantined anyway. I could help them get to Arizona or maybe West Texas, and after a while maybe the patrols won't bother searching for them anymore. Besides, maybe I'm fooling myself to begin with. Maybe the girl is wrong and the patrols aren't even coming for my family. I can keep saving up for Eden's plague medicine. All my anxiety might be for nothing, but off in the distance I hear the medic truck siren growing louder. They're coming for Eden. I make up my mind. I scramble from under the porch and hurry to the back door. Out here I can hear the medic trucks much more clearly. They're getting closer. I open the back door and dash up the few steps leading to our living room. I take a deep breath. Then I kick open the door and rush into the light. My mother lets out a startled cry. John rolls around in my direction. We stand there for an instant, staring at each other, unsure of what to do. "What's wrong?" His face turns pale at my expression. "What are you doing here? Tell me what happened." He tries to steady his voice, but he knows something's terribly wrong, something so serious that it forced me to reveal myself to my entire family. I pull the worn cap off my head. My hair tumbles down in a tangled mess. Mom holds a bandaged hand over her mouth. Her eyes grow suspicious, then they widen. "It's me, Mom," I say. "It's Daniel." I watch the different emotions flash across her face. Disbelief, joy, confusion. Before she takes a step forward, her eyes dart between John and me. I can't tell which shocks her more, that I'm alive or that John seems to know all about it. "Daniel?" she whispers. It's strange to hear her say my old name again. I rush to take Mom's injured hands in my own. They're shaking. There's no time to explain. I try to ignore the expression in her eyes. They were strong, bright blue once, just like mine, but sorrow has faded them. How do I face my mother, who's thought I was dead for so many years? "They're coming for Eden. You have to hide him." "Daniel?" Her fingers brush the hair from my eyes. I'm suddenly her little boy again. "My Daniel, you're alive. This must be a dream." I take her by the shoulders. "Mom, listen. The plague patrol is coming, and they have a medic truck with them. Whatever virus Eden has, they're coming to get him. We have to hide you all." She studies me a moment, then nods. She leads me to Eden's bed. From up close, I can see that Eden's dark eyes have somehow turned black. There's absolutely no reflection in them, and I realize with horror that they're black because his irises are bleeding. Mom and I carefully help Eden sit up. His skin is burning hot. John gently lifts him onto his shoulder, whispering soothing words as he does. Eden lets out a pained yelp, and his head lolls to one side, resting against John's neck. "Connect the 2 circuits," he murmurs. The sirens continue to wail outside. They must be less than a couple of blocks away by now. I exchange a desperate look with my mother. "Under the porch," she whispers. "There's no time to run." Neither John nor I argue. Mom takes my hand tightly in hers. We make our way out the back entrance. I stop for a second just outside, checking the direction and distance of the patrols. They're almost here. I hurry over the porch and slide the board to one side. "Eden first," Mom whispers. John adjusts Eden on his shoulder, then kneels down and crawls into the space. I help Mom in next. Then I scoot after them, wiping away any marks we made in the dirt, and carefully lifting the board back into place. I hope it's good enough. We huddle in the darkest corner where we can barely even see each other. I stare at the shafts of light coming through the vents. They slice the dirt floor into pieces, and I can just make out the crumpled sea daisies. The medic truck sirens sound distant for a moment. They're making a turn somewhere, and then all of a sudden they're deafening. Heavy boots follow in their wake. Damn trots. They've already stopped outside our home and are getting ready to force their way in. "Stay here," I whisper. I twist my hair up over my head and then stuff it back inside my cap. "I'm going to throw them off." "No," it's John's voice. "Don't go back out there. It's too dangerous." I shake my head. "It's too dangerous for you if I stay. Trust me." My eyes flick to Mom, who's working hard to keep her own fear in check while telling Eden a story. I remember how calm she had always seemed when I was little, with her soothing voice and gentle smile. I nod at John. "I'll be right back." Overhead, I hear someone bang on the door. "Plague Patrol," a voice calls out. "Open up." I dart over to the loose board, carefully pull it aside a couple feet, and then squeeze my way out. I slide it carefully back into place. Our house's fence shields me from view, but through the cracks I can see the soldiers waiting outside the house. I have to act quickly. They won't be expecting someone to fight back right now, especially someone they can't see. I hurry silently to the back of our house, get a good foothold on a loose brick, and fling myself upward. I grab the edge of our roof and swing up onto it. The soldiers can't see me up here, with our wide chimney and the shadows cast by the taller buildings around us, but I have a good view of them. In fact, the view makes me pause. Something's wrong here. We have at least a slim chance against one plague patrol, but there are far more than a dozen soldiers in front of our house. I count at least 20, maybe more, all with white masks tied tightly around their mouths. Some have full gas masks on. 2 military jeeps are parked next to the medic truck. In front of one, a high-ranking official with red tassels and a commander's hat stands waiting. Next to her is a dark-haired young man in a captain's uniform, and standing in front of him, unmoving and unprotected, is the girl. I frown, confused. They must have arrested her, and now they're using her for something. That means they must have caught Tess, too. I search the crowd, but Tess is nowhere to be seen. I turn back to the girl. She seems calm, unfazed by the sea of soldiers surrounding her. She tightens her own mask around her mouth. And then, in an instant, I realize why the girl had looked so familiar. Her eyes, those dark, gold-flecked eyes. The young captain named Midas. The one I'd escaped from on the night I raided the Los Angeles Central Hospital. He had the exact same eyes. Midas must be her relative. Just like him, she works for the military. I can't believe my stupidity. I should have seen this earlier. I quickly scan the faces of the other soldiers, wondering if Midas himself is here as well. But I just see the girl. They sent her to hunt me down. And now, because of my idiocy, she has tracked me right to my family. She may have even killed Tess. I close my eyes. I trusted this girl, had been duped into kissing her, even falling for her. The thought makes me blind with rage. A loud crash rings out from our house. I hear shouts, then screams. The soldiers have found them. They've broken through the floorboards and dug them out. "Go down there. Why are you hiding on this roof? Help them." But that would only reveal their relation to me, and their fates would be sealed. My arms and legs freeze up. Then 2 soldiers with gas masks emerge from behind the house, dragging my mother between them. Following close behind are soldiers restraining John, who shouts at them to leave our mother alone. A pair of medics come out last. They've strapped Eden to a gurney and are wheeling him toward the medic truck. I have to do something. From my pocket, I pull the 3 silver bullets Tess had given me, the 3 bullets from my hospital break-in. I fit one of them into my makeshift slingshot. A memory of my 7-year-old self launching the flaming snowball into the police headquarters flickers through my mind. Then I point the slingshot at one of the soldiers holding John, pull back as far as I can, and fire. It scrapes his neck so hard that I see blood spray from the impact. The soldier crumples, clutching frantically at his mask. Instantly, other soldiers point their guns towards the roof. I'm crouched, motionless, behind the chimney. The girl steps forward. Day? Her voice echoes down the street. I must be delirious because I think I hear sympathy in her voice. I know you're here, and I know why. She points towards John and my mother. Eden has already disappeared inside the medic truck. Now my mother knows I'm the criminal she sees on all the Jumbotron warnings, but I say nothing. I feel another bullet in my slingshot and point it in the girl's direction. You want your family to be safe. I understand that, she continues. I wanted my family to be safe too. I pull back my arm. The girl's voice becomes more pleading, even urgent. Now I'm giving you a chance to save yours. Turn yourself in. Please, no one will get hurt. One of the soldiers standing near her lifts his gun higher. On instinct, I swing the slingshot toward him and fire. It hits him right in the knee and sends him tumbling forward. The soldiers fire a volley of bullets at me. I huddle behind the chimney. Sparks fly. I grit my teeth and close my eyes. I can do nothing in this situation. I'm helpless. Once the gunfire stops, I look out from the chimney and see the girl still standing there. Her commander crosses her arms. The girl doesn't flinch. Then I see the commander step forward. When the girl starts to protest, she pushes her aside. You can't stay there forever. The commander shouts up at me. Her voice is much colder than the girl's. And I know you won't leave your family to die. I fit the last bullet into my slingshot and point it straight at her. The commander shakes her head at my silence. Okay, Icarus, she says to the girl. We've tried your tactic. Now let's try mine. She turns to the dark-haired captain and nods once. Cop her. I have no time to stop what happens next. The captain lifts his gun and points it at my mother. Then he shoots her in the head.